Arigatou! Welcome back, gamers! Welcome back, everybody! Hello! Twitch was... Well, not Twitch, but OBS was being a little bit borked. This is what happens if I don't use my computer for a few days. It retaliates, you know? It has to spite me. It missed me, so it was like, it's gotta get back at Fangy, you know? But hello, Kitty! Hello, Insomnia! Hello, JD! JD, congrats on first. Insomnia, also congrats on first before I had to restart the stream. And Kitty, congrats on third! Welcome! Insomnia says, who took my first? It was JD! Yeah, it always resets when I start the stream. I'm sorry about that. But for some reason, I was trying to like change the scene off of the intro one and it wasn't working, so yeah, we had to, it was necessary. Let me add some background music real quick. Here we go, we got some nice little Animal Crossing tunes so that it's not awkwardly silent aside from my yapping, you know. All for the better, you suppose, that we don't actually take more than one. That's true. You took 1 and 2. You were very greedy today, Insomnia. Rachel says, claiming the non-existent fourth. Rachel, congrats on fourth. Congrats. Also, friends, let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet or anything. And then, yeah, we are doing our little post-PAX Zatsu, where I tell you guys how PAX East went. Let me move this a little bit. Move this over here. There we go. So not overlapping too much. There we go. But hello, everybody. I have been missing since like Tuesday last week. Technically, I didn't stream on Monday because I had a migraine or something last week, if I remember correctly. And then Tuesday I streamed on Ariel's channel. So, I mean, technically, you guys haven't seen me for like over a week now. But that's because last Wednesday, we made a trek over to Boston for PAX East. That is a video game convention that I've been attending like every year for the past like 12 years. JD, congrats on the 77 months. Thank you for the sub. Thank you. It's very delicious. Thank you. Insomnia said, no, it was an accident. If I was greedy, I would have gotten third as well. That's true. I believe you. It was definitely an accident. JD says, time for the 6-year, 5-month pin? Oh, I'm behind. I'm so behind with the pins. I know. I gotta look into... I gotta figure out a plan for making my next pin. I gotta figure out what's going on. I'm all confused about tariff stuff now, and I'm just like, what is happening? I don't know. Thingy's now live. Thanks, Stream Elements. That was a little bit delayed. But, yes. So I was at PAX East for, the past, like, 5 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were the days of the convention. But I always go down the day before since it's a very long drive. It's like 6 hours to get there. Hello, Gord. Hello, Okari. Welcome back. You hope PAX was fun? It was fun. I always have a good time. I have lots of friends there, so it's really nice to see everybody, because I only see them, you know, like once or twice a year for conventions. But, this year's PAX theme is like a Metro Graffiti theme, which is kind of cool. I was hoping it might be a little bit more like Splatoon-y, but it was more like spray painty, which makes sense. It makes sense. But they have this cool little, like, spray painty graffiti thing that you could like take pictures in front of this year. It was cute. But I took lots of pictures for you guys. I tried not to post too many pictures on Discord or Twitter. That way we could all enjoy them together. Splatoon would have been much cooler. Yeah, I like the Splatoon aesthetic, but also copyright infringement, I suppose. Alright, 1 second. I have lots of pictures to show you guys. Lots of pictures. Let me scroll down in OBS. Alright, so PAX East is a video game convention. There's a big expo hall where there's game demos and whatnot. One of the ones I was really excited for this year was gonna be Elden Ring Night Rain. However, for some reason, they built a Thunderdome. I don't know why. The game comes out in like a couple of weeks, but they made this Thunderdome, and you had to like get a ticket to go into it, and the tickets would disappear immediately in the morning. Like, it's like if you didn't get there right at opening, all the tickets will be gone. It was like very, very top secret demos in the Thunderdome. I don't know why they're being so secretive. No, But I didn't want to stand in line in the morning. I was too lazy, so I was like, you know what? I'm buying the game anyway, so I can just wait a couple weeks. I was patient. I was very patient. But one of my friends went to it. It was cool. They had I think it was like I don't know who it was. They had someone who was like good at the game, and then they would take someone from the audience, and then you guys would play together, and then everyone could watch it. But I don't know who the like the pro players were. I don't know who they were. Cause it's not like Elden Ring has esports, so I don't know how they chose people. Gord says it's Elden Ring, so I wouldn't go in there for fear of having to die 3,000 times. It's okay, cause I'm used to dying, so I wouldn't have minded. JD says 2 people enter, 1 person leaves. I think everybody still left. I think everybody was allowed to leave. You always respawn. You might lose some of your souls, but it's fine. Okay. And then, one of the other games that I was excited for was Off, which I don't know if you guys know about this game. It's actually a pretty old, I believe, French RPG. It's been around for quite a while, and then for some reason, it recently got like an official, like, announcement for, is it for the Switch, I think, or something? But basically, they're re-releasing it, and it's getting like a little like update and stuff. Very unexpected, but also really cool to see like something that was more like, I guess, niche get popular so many years after the fact. It was very cool because it was one of the ones that they had like the huge banner for out in Boston, so you can see like Off on the big screen. And some of the staff members there were dressed up as the main character, the batter. And the demo actually was not like just regularly part of the game. They had like a separate thing for PAX, which I really appreciate. I like it when companies do that, when the demo isn't like just, hey, play the regular game, you know? Sometimes you'll sit down at conventions to like demo a game, and then you just start playing and like you don't know when to stop, because it's not like a demo, they just have you playing the regular game. And then like after a while you're like, am I supposed to leave? Like, if I get up and that demo is not over, am I being rude for leaving? But also, if there's no like timer for the demo, maybe I'm being rude by sitting here playing too long and like holding up the line. So it can be a little confusing. So I like it when they have like a specific demo for it. I appreciate that. They also have little like pennants. Is that the right word? Pennants? You can kind of see it in the first picture on the table there, but I think they're like sports things. I think pennants are sports things. Like you would put like a sports team on it. But this one had a picture of the judge. That's the cat there. I had a picture of him and it said Off. Gord says maybe it's a psychological test on the PAX attendees. If it's a test, then I'm failing. Gord says they were allowed to leave in caskets. Oh, dark. Scary. JD says it's not really the Thunderdome. That's just Sparkling Coliseum. What's Sparkling Coliseum? Sparkles? Is this where the vampires go? I just put all my pictures in OBS, so this is kind of awkward. But hopefully this works, showing you guys the pictures. This was a game that they posted on the PAX subreddit ahead of time, and I was kind of interested in. It's called Cat Secretary, and the idea is that you're a cat who needs a job, and nobody wants to hire cats. And you see a newspaper article with like a wanted ad for a secretary for a store. Or not a store, but like a business, right? And it says anyone is welcome, even cats. So you decide to go apply there. But then once you start working there, you find out that like the human workers are gonna be replaced by like robots and AI and stuff. And so during the day, you do like your cat secretary things, like making coffee and sorting paperwork and things like that, and doing like IT management stuff. And then during the evening, it's like all stealthy, and you're snooping and trying to like uncover the secrets of the business. And I think probably you're trying to like stop the AI and the robots, and protect the people's jobs probably. Inside the game though, the business is called Docs, and I was like, how many of these developers used to work for Vox? Like, you guys aren't being very stealthy with this. You're not you're not hiding it very well. But apparently the developers actually, they're all writers. They were actually all writers formerly, and then they decided to make a game. That's why I'm like, I think they got a bone to pick here. I don't blame them either. I was like, this is relatable, yeah. I think a lot of people will get behind this with the current happenings in the world, with all the AI and whatnot. Hi, Alex. Hello. As subtle as a foghorn, yeah. But I dig it. They also said that they're recruiting voice actors. They have like a casting call thing on their website. So I was thinking maybe I would try applying. They said you don't have to be experienced. They said you can be a total noob. And I am, in fact, a total noob. So, I might be qualified. Oh, also when you play the game, they gave you a cute little pin. So I got the pin of the little business mouse. JD says, ooh, I should see if my friend Molly has already applied for it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the game had really been announced too much elsewhere. So it's possible that they didn't know about it yet. Okay, this game had like a cool booth. It was like a van kind of, and then on the other side people could like play the game. But it was like a racing game. Not like a racing game, it was a driving game rather. And it looked like my worst nightmare, honestly, because I do not like driving vehicles. I was like, oh no, is this like Rainbow Road? But I thought their little booth area was cool looking, so I had to take a picture of it. This game has been out for a while in early access. My friend Ariel has streamed it before. It's ITU. It's like, at least the initial premise is that there's like a yandere girl keeping you trapped in her apartment, and you have to like talk to her to try and convince her to let you out. There are a lot of bad endings where you don't get let out, which I found out when I played it. I got in line to demo it, and when it was my turn, I played for like a minute and then I died. And then the developer laughed at me. It did not go well. It did not go well for me. I thought I had a good strategy. Because she was like, oh, senpai, you're in my house. I hope you slept well. Would you like to play some games? And I was like, yes, I like video games. What video game are we playing? I know. We should play an escape room game. And she was like, senpai, why would you want to play an escape room game? Do you want to escape? And I was like, no, of course I don't want to escape. I just thought it'd be fun. It could be a good bonding experience. And then she was like, die, senpai, die. And then she stabbed me a million times. And then I lost. So I guess I don't have very good, I don't have very much riz, I guess. I'm not very good with girls. It's I as love. It's also I like AI as well. Cause she's like a little AI. Like you type to her, and then it responds based off of what you do. But Ariel played this, and she played it a long time ago, and then she played it again recently because they're adding new scenarios. They're adding like new settings and girls to interact with, which is pretty cool. And they also have like multiple endings for each of the characters, which is neat. When I first saw it, like the first time Ariel played it, it felt kind of more like a tech demo than a game almost. But now it feels like it's becoming like pretty polished. So I think that was pretty cool. They also had these cute little paper fans or little plastic fans. And one side it was like, oh, it's your cute girlfriend. On the other side it's like, yandere stabby girl. Can't stay right now? Okay, bye Alex, bye bye. Have a good rest of your day. Okay, next up, there was a Dead by Daylight booth. It was always quite busy there. They were doing a lot of like meet and greets with people from the development team, I think mostly. One of the times I walked by, people were taking pictures with someone, and then when I looked it up, it was like the creative director. So that's pretty cool. If you were like a Dead by Daylight super fan, it would definitely be a good place to stop at. They also did like a really big panel there where they announced a new character from Five Nights at Freddy's. And I guess Moog was streaming. She was streaming the live stream of the Dead by Daylight PAX panel. And I was like, ah, if I'd known. If only I'd known, I could have showed up and like photobombed the panel. I wouldn't do that, because I'm a nice cryptid. But it would have been funny. It would have been very funny. Hello, TP. Hello, hello. Kitty says she'll be lurking and listening while shopping at the ASDA. Okay, get all the groceries. Get all the groceries, Kitty. But yeah, it was I guess it was a really big deal. I've only played Dead by Daylight a couple times when Moog organizes collabs, but people were very excited about this announcement. There are also a lot of really cool Dead by Daylight cosplayers, which is kind of nice even if you don't play Dead by Daylight because so many of them are from other franchises. There were multiple Pyramid Heads, and then there was is it called the Legion? Is it called the Legion? I saw some of the original characters there. There was also the guy with a bunch of like pins in his face. That man. Yep. And then also the creature with a really long neck. At first I thought it was the model from Junji Ito's manga because like she also has a long neck and a creepy mouth. But apparently the original character from Dead by Daylight also looks kind of similar. And that's the one it ended up being, because I sent a picture to Moog. And then Moog was like, yeah, it's this character. And I was like, oh, okay. Either way, though, it was very creepy. And I'm very glad that I did not, like, bump into her. Like, imagine, like, if I was, like, in the restroom or something, and, like, I turned the corner, and then she was there with her creepy neck and mouth, I would have screamed. I'd be dead. You'd read the news that, like, I died from fright. It'd be a huge controversy. Gord says, Pinhead from Hellraiser, maybe. Yeah, I think so. I think that's who it was. I think so. Gord said, Fangy photobombs the panel. Accidentally gives a few people concussions with their antlers. I know. It's very hard being clumsy when you have antlers, because, like, if you're not careful, you're gonna impale somebody. That's why my antlers, like, you know how they're not, like, really pointy? They're kind of flattened. I do that so I don't impale people. It's a safety measure. Fangy causing antler violence, not on purpose. It's not on purpose. I'm a nice cryptid, I swear. I'm a nice cryptid. But yeah, I walked by the booth a couple times. I was really hoping that, like, they'd have some kind of, like, freebies. I was like, oh, what if they're handing out, like, you know, like a special skin or something, or some kind of, like, free code for the blood drops or whatever they're called. I was like, I'll get one for Moog. But I didn't see anything like that, unfortunately. But I was looking. I was hunting for some free stuff. Ba-dum. Bum. Ba-dum. This is Dune Awakening? They were there last year too. And I haven't played the demo, so I don't really understand what it is yet. It seems to be multiplayer. I don't really understand if it's like a survival game. But they got this cool worm. They got this huge creepy worm. And I kind of just like, I have this like intrusive thought of like sticking my hand in its mouth hole and taking a picture. But I'm not tall enough. I couldn't reach. Also, it's like roped off, so like I don't want to get kicked out PAX. But like the urge is there. It's very real. JD says Shyhalud? What's that? I've never read Dune, because Dune isn't Dune like a book series? A movie? I'm gonna Google it. Dune. Because it's a film, yeah. Okay. Alright, so it's a film series, but also it's based on a 1965 novel. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was originally a book. But yeah, I really don't know anything about the franchise. Other than apparently worms. Big sandworms. Oh, that's the name for them in universe? I see. Gotcha. I really wonder how they transport stuff like this for conventions. I feel like it'd be very difficult. It doesn't look like you can take it apart really, right? So they just have like a giant truck with this inside it? There was also this little area that had this like little animatronic guy. And I don't know what game he's from. He might not even be from a game, because I feel like it was like a hardware booth or something. But he was so cute. He was so cute. And I was taking a picture of him and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to free him. And then he opened his mouth. And he's got all the teeth. And I was like, oh. But I still think we should free him, because he's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. Hey Dahlia! Hello! Good afternoon! Gord says they probably have some clever way of just disassembling it. Perhaps. Some sculpture magic that we are not privy to. And thank you for the pets. Thank you. No. Okay, so... Gamer Subs had a booth. I think they're kind of like a more modern G Fuel. There's always like these different like gamer drinks, right? And this is one that I've heard about because they've been doing like collabs with VTubers. They have like a special drink for like the VTuber Bao. It's like Blowhole Blast. And Mook got really into them recently. Mook has been like trying a bunch of the different flavors and talking about it. So I was like, I get very curious. Like when I hear my friends talk about things, I'm like, oh, I want to eat that thing or drink that thing or play that thing. You know what I mean? Whenever I hear my friends talk about it. Like, you know how there are people where it's like, oh, if an influencer talks about something, then it makes other people want to do it? I'm like that but with my friends. Or if it's like a friend that does it, I'm like, oh, my friends have good taste, so I will check it out. But also I'm cheap. I'm very cheap, so I had not tried it out yet. But they had a big booth with a bunch of free samples. They had like, these little packets, but they also had some that were like already mixed in like little coolers. And then you could like get a little Dixie cup and try out all the flavors. So I tried a bunch of them. I tried a melon one, a lemonade one. I tried Chug, which I think is a Fortnite collab probably, right? Like Chugging Jug? It was blue. So it looks like the shield potion in Fortnite. There was a Gloomy Bear fruit punch. There was a dragon fruit one. What else was there? I'm trying to think what else there was. Oh, there was a pear one. There's a pear one as well. But my favorite ones were the melon one was pretty good. I thought the melon one was good. The Gloomy Bear punch one was pretty good. But what I really wanted was to try that Blowhole Blast, because that's the one all my VTuber friends talk about, you know? And I was like, I want to drink the VTuber juice. But they didn't have it. And I asked them, I was like, even if they didn't have it like a free sample, I thought maybe they'd be selling it there. So I was like, oh, do you guys have the Blowhole Blast? And the worker told me, he was like, no, we can't bring Blowhole Blast because it's not family friendly. And PAX is like supposed to be a family friendly convention. Like, there's lots of cussing in like the panels and stuff. But in terms of like sexual or like lewd content, it's pretty family friendly. So with Blowhole Blast, they were like, oh, we cannot have the bikini VTubers. So I didn't get to try it. Oh well. I kind of understand it. But I wanted to try it because that's the one Luke likes. Ah well. It was fun that I got to try the other ones. I like free samples. Yeah, guacamole gamer fart, which does not sound appetizing at all. But I'll still try it because it's free. The cryptid does not say no to free things. Okay. Over here, this is not the expo floor, but there is a room at PAX usually called the Alexandria RPG Library, which is really cool. They just have a ton of different tabletop RPG books, including like old rare ones sometimes that you won't really find for sale like in your local gaming store. And it's really cool. You can like go and like look through stuff before like ordering something online if you wanted to. The one at PAX Unplugged, so PAX Unplugged is like the tabletop PAX, so that one is a bit bigger, and that one had like a ton of like really cool old tabletop RPGs. There's like a super old WWE one from like the 90s that was really fun to flip through. But this is the PAX East one, and I'm pretty sure they have different selections, because I think these are probably all the books that they keep in Boston, maybe. Because I didn't see this, it didn't seem like the same books that I saw in Philadelphia. But one of the ones they had that was really cool when we were flipping through it. Oh yeah, also this is Boo Bear in his human form. Yeah, he's wearing his human disguise. But one of the cool ones we found, because Boo Bear likes Ninja Turtles, and they had an autographed copy. Isn't that cool? They had the tabletop game for Ninja Turtles, and it was autographed by Kevin Eastman, who's one of the original creators. That was super cool, I thought. Very neat. Also, this the entire back row, like on the far left of the picture, those are all like old D&D books, which is kind of cool. But everything else is all tabletop RPGs that aren't like, D&D and Pathfinder. They're all other ones. Also, hello Mogata and Solo, hello. Welcome, Okairi. Welcome. Boo Bear says, do not perceive the flesh. Mogata says, perfectly fine flesh. That sounds like something a zombie would say, doesn't it? It sounds like a zombie. This picture is not very good because I'm just using my phone's camera, and also I don't know how to take pictures really. But Thursday night, well basically Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, PAX has concerts. And I went to the Thursday night one, which was Paul and Storm, and then Jonathan Colton. And if you don't know who they are, you would probably recognize some of Jonathan Colton's music because he did all the songs for Portal. Not all the songs, but like the ending songs. So he did Still Alive and the other ending songs for the other Portal games. And it was super fun. Jonathan Colton's like one of my favorite musicians, so I really like seeing him in concert. And he was at the first PAX I ever went to. And then he kind of didn't come back for quite a while because he started a cruise. And the cruise like always conflicted timing-wise with PAX East. So like there were like probably like 5 years, the past 5 years, we really hadn't seen him at all. Since like before COVID, really. And then he came back to PAX Unplugged in 2024 last year. And then he came back to PAX East this year. So I got to see him twice in the past year. So I was very spoiled. Very spoiled indeed. And then since it was Mother's Day weekend, Paul and Storm sang a Mother's Day song. And since it's May, Jonathan Colton sang a May song. It was very themed this time. Yes. But yeah, I like how PAX has like nerdy concerts. And then that was the Thursday concert. On Friday they had Bit Brigade, I believe. And they play music while someone speedruns on stage. I believe that's their idea. That's like their like gimmick, is that while someone is doing the speed running for a game, they play the music from the game, which is kind of cool. And then Saturday night, I believe they had BioShock Infinite, which is a BioShock themed barbershop quartet. But I only went to the Thursday night concert because the other nights I was busy. But if you went to all the concerts, like when you think about it, if you go to 3 different concerts, you're getting some good bang for your buck with the convention. In some of the previous years, they had a band called the Video Game Orchestra, which would play a bunch of music from different games, and I really like them a lot, but they haven't been there the past couple of years because the main dude, I think he's like the leader of it. He got scouted to do the Sonic stuff. Is it the Sonic Symphony or whatever? There's been like a tour of Sonic concerts the past couple of years, and he's been doing that, which is really cool. But it also means I've missed having them at PAX. I hope that when he finishes his Sonic tour that he'll come back. Mogudo says, I got to see Crush 40 at my last con, but it was so packed with people and I caught the flu from someone. Oh no! Is that where you got the flu from? I know you got to go to the concert because you posted a picture with my keychain, and I was like, oh, I got to see Crush 40 in keychain form. But I was thinking that too, like that gave me that idea as well when you talked about that. I was like, I wonder if PAX could ever get Crush 40. It'd be pretty cool. Like Video Game Orchestra has done a lot of Sonic songs, but it'd be nice to have all of the Shadow songs. Fangy in my Shadow hat. Yes. Oh yeah, I also bought a Jonathan Coulton shirt for the first time. I was like, you know what? He's my favorite musician, basically. I'll buy a shirt as a treat. The Cryptic can have a little treat. And JD says, I'm still waiting for this phase to end. It's not a phase. It's not a phase. Here are some of my favorite cosplays from the weekend. The first one is Dr. Eggman. He had a Sonic puppet. And then I was like, oh, can I take a picture of you? And then he was like, one moment, and he reached into his pocket and he pulled out the Chaos Emerald. He was great. I saw him around a bunch over the weekend. He was one of my favorites. And then there was a Nikki cosplayer from Infinity Nikki, which I've been kind of obsessed with ever since I played it at the beginning of the year. So I was like, oh, it's a Nikki! And she had, if any of you play Infinity Nikki, maybe you don't, but if you do, they have these things called Whimstars in there. And she had a Whimstar pillow. And I really want one. I almost want to be like, did you make that? Did you buy it somewhere? Where did you buy it? I want to buy one. But she probably made it herself, for all I know. And she's a cosplayer, she's probably crafty like that. And then on the right side is a Stardew Valley cosplay group. We got Maru, Harvey, and Abigail. And I just started playing Stardew Valley with Ariel and Sunny on Teasing Cryptid Tuesdays. So that was extra fun seeing some Stardew love. Even though it's a pretty old game at this point, you know? It's been around for a long time. But it's still so popular and it still gets updates and everything. It's nice to see it like lasting so long, I feel like. Also, the Mario had a strawberry, Harvey had a coffee. I really wish that Abigail had like a quartz or an amethyst and then like pretended to eat it. Cause that's a thing in Stardew Valley where you can give her crystals and she'll be like, oh thanks, I was hungry. Or oh thanks, this looks delicious. Which I imagine was probably originally a bug or something, but people liked it so much they kept it in. At least that would be my guess. JD says 5 out of 7, no Penny. I know, Penny's my favorite girl. I've never seen a Penny cosplayer though. I wonder if it's cause like she's a little bit less recognizable. Like compared to a lot of the other characters that have like, you know, unusual hair colors. Like Penny just looks like kind of like a real person. And the other ones look more like fantasy-ish, I suppose. I don't know. But Penny is a very good waifu. I agree. And then I went to a couple of panels over the weekend as well. One of the ones I went to was about robots. They had the Robo Doggies, and these were not the Boston Dynamics robots. These were a different Boston company, I believe. But they were really cute. I wish they had heads. I do wish they had heads. But one of them had a bandana, and I was like, that's pretty cute. And the people there were controlling them and like making them do tricks and making them like walk over to like the kids in the audience and letting the kids pet them and whatnot. It was nice. It was very fun. I was very tickled. It's weird because I realize this is a hot take, but I'm not really into mechs, which I know is like bad. Like, I'm a weeb, I should be into mechs and Gundams and stuff, but it's just something I have a hard time with. Like when things aren't organic enough, I guess. I don't have much interest in them, I suppose. But I like robot dogs and like animatronics and things like that. I think that stuff is cool. Like the kind of stuff you see at like Disney, those kind of like animatronic robots and things. I feel like that's pretty cool. And then the guy there, actually, it was really interesting. He was telling us he makes all different kinds of robots. And like these robots are kind of just like for fun, these little doggos. These ones they don't really like use for like a businessy kind of thing. They're just kind of like to play with. But he said that he makes other robots for like companies and whatnot. And one thing that he's been working on is making a robot for VTubers to use. And I was like, what? Because like I went to a panel about robots. I was not expecting to hear anything about VTubers. But he said in Japan, some companies are looking to like get robots that the VTubers can control and use for conventions and stuff to like do events and stuff like that. And I was like, what? I've not heard about this. What are you talking about? This is cool. So I got his business card so I can like look up his website and learn about what he's working on. I don't know. It could be cool. It could also be kind of like Uncanny Valley-esque. I'm curious to see what it's like. I'm not like at a lot of conventions. Well, obviously, like with the Maid Cafe, we sometimes are at the events on like the iPad and the tablet. And I know that at some bigger conventions, sometimes they'll have, you know, like Iron Mouse and people on like huge screens, and like sometimes those ones that like can move around, but it's still like a flat tablet, you know. I haven't heard about anybody doing anything with like an actual robot before, so I'm pretty curious. Mogota says Fangy can walk around the cafe via robot. That seems like a bad idea though, doesn't it, Mogota? Like, if I'm limited to just the iPad, I can't really do much damage. But if I have a physical form, I could break a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like a risk for the customers. You might get stuff spilled on you.
It's nice to meet you.
Oh, Kyrie, everyone. Welcome, readers. Hello, little angels. Hello, everybody. This is Fangy. I'm a comfy cryptid and a clumsy maid from Moe Live, the VTuber group that Nap is also in. But welcome, everybody. Welcome, Cubic. Welcome, Raymond. Welcome, Sigmund. Hello, everyone. Casual, everybody. Welcome on in. How was your stream, Nap? What were you up to today? Hello, Uni. Hello, Devin. Hello, Cutie. Oh, hello, Cutie. Hello, Nap. How are you? How was your stream? I saw that you and Pixie were both streaming today, earlier. I was doing a heckin' lurk, because I was a little sleepy after getting back from my convention. Hello. I love my one DM and I always go hello whenever we start our D&D sessions, or rather Pathfinder. The Nikkei, is it pronounced Nikki or is it Nikkei? I don't actually know. I'm bad at gacha games. I do not know much about them. I'm very new. The story made you cry though. Ah, heck. But it was fun? Well, hopefully it was crying like because it was a good story, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes something can be sad, but you can also be like, yeah, that was good. Moguda said, hope you had fun with the event and had to alert to avoid spoilers. Oh, Moguda must play this game as well then. Nikke? Oh, gotcha. I play Nikki, and Nat plays Nikke. I see. Oh, it was really cute and happy. Oh, it was a happy cry. Oh, okay. I thought something sad happened in the story, but it was happy tears. Oh. You know, I don't know that a game has ever made me cry happy tears before. A lot of games have made me cry from, like, sad parts. I don't know that I've ever cried from happy parts before. I have to think about that. Nap said she will not spoil it. That's very considerate, Nap. But welcome, everybody. Feel free to hang out if you want. We are talking about a video game convention that I went to over the weekend. I've been showing off some pictures from it. I was just showing off pictures from a panel that I went to. I went to a panel about robots, and they brought some robo-dogs, which were very cute. Moguda says the game is both tragic and happy at times. I like that, though. I like it when games have a bit of both. But yes, these were the robot dogs they had there. Not as cool as Cinder. I agree. Also, I was very happy to come home and see her after 5 days. I like traveling on vacations and stuff like that, but like, it's hard when you have a pet, because you're like, I don't want to leave them. Luckily, one of my friends was able to watch her this time, so I wasn't, like, worried about her. But at the same time, I still missed her, you know? She was very happy when we came home last night. Okay. Now, I took some videos. of the doggos. I'll show you the videos. Look at them! Look at them doing their little tricks! They got tippy tappies! Look at them! I don't mind if they take over, as long as they're cute. But yeah, they could do little tricks like this. They could also, like, play dead on their backs and stuff. And I was like, oh, they died! They died! And then one of them, his battery actually ran out during the panel, which was funny. I was like, oh my gosh, he really did die. No, I didn't die. The robot did. I'm fine. I'm perfectly alive. I didn't even get the PAX Plague. I did not get the PAX Plague this year, as far as I can tell. It's always risky when you go to conventions, you know, when you're being around so many people who all traveled to get there. Pretty risky, but I feel healthy. I always make sure to take, like, vitamin C whenever I have conventions. This is fine, don't worry about it. It's fine. This looks terrible. This looks very bad right here. It looks like the cryptid is being burned alive. No, don't cook me. I don't taste good, I swear. Uni says, I noticed your voice changed. Probably just from talking a bunch over the weekend. My throat actually hurt at the end of one of the days, and then we went and got udon. I was like, warm noodles would feel really good right now, I feel like. 100 robot dogs versus 1 Cinder? I don't think those are good odds. That doesn't seem like a fair fight. I don't think that's fair. Also, a glove, thank you, Moguda. 1 second. I'm gonna be good and actually drink water. I have a Coke here and I have a water. Oh, we got some glubs from JD as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for JD, and then looks like Insomnia also has 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's actually a good thing to rehydrate. It's very important that you stay hydrated at conventions. I've had friends get dehydrated before because they didn't drink enough despite like walking around so much and like sweating more than usual. You gotta be really careful actually with that. It could be dangerous. Cinder just needs to hide in a high place till their batteries run out. Gourd says feel bad for those robo dogs. You think Cinder's gonna win? Are you guys betting on Cinder? Cubic says Cinder's too tough, they need more robots. Also, thank you for the Phoenix down. Thank you very much. I feel much better. It's so easy to forget to drink when going around all the booths. Yeah. That's why I think it's good to bring a water bottle with you if you can. PAX is very good because they allow you to bring in your own drinks and food. I'm under the impression that like some places don't let you do that. Because every year I see people asking on the subreddit and on the Discord like, oh, am I allowed to bring a backpack? Am I allowed to bring a water bottle? And I'm like, yes, of course. PAX wants you to be fed and hydrated. Do other places not? I guess they don't. I don't know. All the conventions I've ever been to have been fine with that stuff. But I guess I haven't gone to that many. I used to go to Fan Expo Canada. And I've been to Otakon a few times. I go to a retro gaming convention sometimes, and then PAX. And none of them have ever been like, you know, let's look in your bag and make sure you don't have any water, you know? That's crazy. That's crazy. You have a friend that goes to Otakon every year? It's a bit of a travel for me, so I've only gone a couple of times. And as I've become an older cryptid, I feel a little weird about going to anime cons sometimes, because I feel like the audience sometimes runs like a bit younger, you know? I feel a little bit more at home at gaming conventions now. Mogota says water's normally fine. It's if you try and take in other types of drinks. Well, that's good at least. You gotta at least let people have water. Like, come on. You don't want people passing out. JD says, well, just about everyone's a bit younger when you're in your 400s. Yeah. Yeah. I know I may look like I'm forever 17, but I am a cryptid, so I've been around for hundreds of years. Yes. Fangy is still young. Thank you, Mogota. Thank you. Yes. Some people tell me I don't look a day over 300. I hear that very often. Teapot! Teapot! Fangy knows the secrets to Hag Maxine. Forever 17, new Fangy merch store. Didn't that store shut down? I think... Did they go out of business? Forever 21? A lot of stores have closed down in the past couple years. JD says, it's still weird when you talk about having the internet and cable TV in the middle of the woods in the 1600s. What can I say? Cryptid society is just a bit more advanced. Okay? We're just smarter and cooler than humans. No offense. Oh, but again, back to the pictures, because this is story time. We are showing off the pictures I took. They had an arcade. They had a whole free play arcade, which they've had some years in the past, but not every year. Which makes sense, because it's probably difficult to transport so many arcade cabinets. But you know, they had a lot of classics. They had, you know, like a bunch of fighting games and whatnot. They had Mario Kart cabinets and things like that. They had, what was it? Virtua Cop was one of the ones. They had a Japan Dolphin Blue or something like that. You're a guy riding a dolphin and you have a gun. So you're riding this dolphin around shooting bad guys. That's a very strange premise. Cubic says, yeah, how do you think cryptids have gone undetected for so long? Because of our advanced technologies. Oh, but they also had like DDR, of course. And then they had Waka? 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 It's a Japanese rhythm game, and I saw it when I was in Japan at a bunch of arcades, but I didn't try it. Cause I was like really excited about this game called Teitote Connect in Japan, which is basically like a giant human-sized tablet touchscreen thingy with an anime girl on it, and she dances, and then you have to like copy her dance moves. And I was very enamored with that game, but it got shut down recently. So I'm like, I need to find another game to play, and this one was at PAX called Waka Waka. My friends and I kept calling it the washing machine game, cause it's got a circle. It kind of looks like a washing machine. And like the first day I was very shy. So I just like I peeked at other people playing the game, trying to figure out how it works. And the people were like pros. They had cards. So like a lot of these arcade games in Japan nowadays are like networked, and players will get cards to like keep their profile with like their high scores and their settings and whatnot on there. In some of these games, it'll have like customizations for your waifu and stuff like that. And a lot of people there had these cards. I was like, oh no, these are professionals. I can't play in front of them. I'm gonna embarrass myself. I was very shy. So I just watched for a bit, and one of them was like, "Oh, do you want to play?" And I was like, no, I'm just watching. But then I was smart. I was very smart cryptid. I came back on Sunday, on the very last day, and I went first thing in the morning when no one was there yet. That's not true. There were like 2 people there, and they were good at the game, so I was still a little shy. But I was brave and I played the game. And it's kind of embarrassing when like the people in front of you and behind you are playing on expert mode, and then I walk up there and I'm like pressing the tutorial button and then playing the songs on easy mode. Moguda says, did they have their white gloves on? One of them did. One of them did have the gloves. They did. That's how you know. When you like see someone playing these rhythm games and they put on gloves, you're like, oh my gosh, okay. Stand back, everybody. We got professional here. We're in for a show. I don't know. Is it maybe just, it must have some kind of function, right? Like maybe it helps your fingers move faster on the things? Maybe it must be something like that. Or is it like a hygiene thing where you're like, I don't want any germs, finger germs. Moda says, if they have the gloves, they're a pro. That's what I figured, because when I was in Japan at like round 1, and I saw people playing rhythm games, I saw a bunch of them with gloves, and I was like, whoa. Moda says it's probably for less friction and to stay clean. Yeah, they're probably like, maybe they don't want like finger smudges on their screens too. And then they probably saw me and they're like, look at this cryptid with her grubby little cryptid claws. Her little grubby cryptid paws getting her fingies all over the screen. But I had fun. They had a bunch of Vocaloid music on there. You could sort it by genre. They had like a Vocaloid section, like a J-pop section. They had a Toho section. You could also sort it by like difficulty. Scratching the screen, yes. No, don't worry. I trimmed my claws before you went. I didn't scratch the screen. Don't worry. But then as soon as I started up and I went to like beginner, I was like, give me a beginner song, and it gave me Usewa by Ado, and I was like, yeah, this is the stuff. I've never like gotten into rhythm games before. Like, they never have like songs that I know, cause I'm not a cultured cryptid. I just listen to weeaboo music. So like when I was like with friends and at parties and things, and people would be like, let's play Rock Band, and I'd be like, I don't know these songs. I don't know any of these songs. But then when I'm like playing like the Japanese arcade machines, I'm like, oh, it's Bad Apple. So it turns out rhythm games are much more fun when they use songs you know. The only problem though is now that I found this, and I did play it, and it was very fun. I was terrible at it, but I did have a good time. The only problem though is that, like, I don't know where I can find one of these arcade cabinets near me. Because a lot of, there's like, even if there's arcades around, a lot of the times it's like pinball and Pac-Man and stuff, you know? There's not a ton of arcades that have like the Japanese arcade cabinets. So I gotta see if there's anything like that near me. There's the Round 1 arcade franchise, which is a Japanese franchise, so they do get a lot of Japanese arcade cabinets, but they're only in like super big cities. Like I know they have one in like Philadelphia, or I think they have one in New York City. Moguta says, you get to book a private party at Retroware. Ah, nice, nice segue, Moguta. Yes, the arcade was hosted by Retroware, so I think it was all of their cabinets that they brought. So yeah, they had like information about their arcade. The interesting thing though is it says they're in Pennsylvania. So I'm like, what? Why are they in Boston? It must have been hard work like transporting all the cabinets, unless they like borrowed them from another like more local arcade. I don't know. But I think it's pretty cool of them. I really like the free play arcade, because when you think about it, like, when you play these games, like, for this one, for example, it's 100 yen to play. So, like, being able to play for free all day, even if you have to, like, you know, get in a line and, like, share it with other people, like, that's cool. That's pretty cool. JD says, I don't think the one near me is technically in a big city, but it's a really cool place. I'm also on the West Coast. Yeah. I think the West Coast gets a lot more, like, weeby things just because you guys are closer to Japan. It's not fair. It's just not fair. I always say East Coast, Beast Coast, but in truth, I am jealous. Moda says, I found, thanks to Tori, a really cute arcade in London that has some fun rhythm games. Yeah, but see, like, London's a big city, right? So, like, you guys get the cool stuff. I always live in the boonies. The cryptid boonies. I'm not a city cryptid. Which is fine. I don't think I would like living in a big city either. The cryptid needs to have some nature around. But I do miss... Not miss, but I do wish I had some of the benefits that cities had, you know? Yeah. JD says, that's why we're the best coast. West Coast, best coast. East Coast, beast coast. Since I'm a beast, I gotta be in the east. That's just how it is, I suppose. I'm sure the West Coast has some cryptids too, but I feel like a lot of cryptids are East Coast. Oh, but then, so afterwards I was excitedly telling my friends about this arcade cabinet. And then my friend looked it up, and she said that Waka is also shut down. But I don't know if that's like actually all of them, or if it's just like a new version is out. So I gotta look that up actually. Waka Rhythm Game. Is this one also shut down? Or is it just like there's a new version? I'm investigating. Okay. Wikipedia says the online service for Waka entered end of life on August 31st, 2022. But like, this cabinet said Waka Reverse. So could that be a new version? Maybe that's a new, more modern version that still... I don't know. Because, like, this is saying that the online functionality ended, but, like, these people were using their cards. They were using... Because they were using their little network card thingies that kept their profiles. So if it was... If the online service ended, they wouldn't be able to do that, right? I might be a narc. Continuing. Another panel that I went to was, get this, Magic the Gathering and Final Fantasy, because they're making Final Fantasy sets now. Now, you guys may not know this about me, but I'm not super into Magic the Gathering. Or Final Fantasy, really. I like Final Fantasy IX and I like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, but I haven't really played any of the others, honestly. I did play Dirge of Cerberus, and Vincent Valentine was pretty cool. But I haven't played that many of the mainline series. So you're probably like, Fangy, why did you go to this Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy collab event, right? Because for some reason, they had Kenny Omega. I don't know why. It's okay, Cinder. It's okay. Oh. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, I know. It's okay. Cinder. Shh. Shh. Yeah, I know. I heard another dog bark outside too. I know, it's upsetting. Do you want to sit on Mommy's lap? Would that help? Would it help if you sat on Mommy's lap? Yeah. Yeah, sitting on Mommy's lap helps everything, huh? Come on over. Come on up. Come here. Come on up. Cinder. She's like, no, I'm gonna sit on the floor and go rough. Rough. Come on up. Come on up. Come here. Come here. Come here, butthead. Come here. There we go. Oh. Alright, we got the Cinder on the lap. Okay, yeah, it's okay. I know, other dogs exist. It's upsetting, but it's okay. It's alright. You're the only dog for me. But yeah, for some reason they had Kenny Omega. And then they had an actress, they had another wrestler. I think they had like a content creator. And yes, and Ben Starr. Because he's like a voice actor for Final Fantasy 16, I think it was. He was the host. Yeah, Kenny's super into Final Fantasy. Like, his special finishing move is called One Winged Angel. So I kind of get why he was there, but it was like super unexpected. So I mostly went to the panel because I was just like, what is he even going to do there? I was just curious. But I actually ended up really enjoying the panel. I really don't have much interest in playing Magic the Gathering. In terms of card games, Weiss Schwarz is the one that I really like. Like, that's the one where like I play it and I'm like, yeah, this is the system for me. I like the mechanics in it. But I've had a lot of friends that play Magic the Gathering over the years, and I'm just like, ugh, it seems expensive, and it's just not for me. But it was really interesting hearing about their decision making, because they basically want to include something from every single mainline Final Fantasy game. And so they talked about how... Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Oh my gosh. Ugh. So they were talking about how basically they wanted to figure out what was the thing in each Final Fantasy game that the players most remembered, that the developers were most proud of, stuff like that. So they basically like polled all these different people, the developers, the players, the people at Wizards of the Coast, basically trying to figure out what set each Final Fantasy game apart. And then they tried to incorporate that. So they actually went through every single Final Fantasy game from 1 to 16 to talk about what kind of cards they included. Big word, next question? Huh? Which word is big? JD says, maybe you shouldn't be eating frog right before stream. Well, maybe you shouldn't tell me what to do. How's that? Sephiroth? Sephiroth. But yeah, I took a picture of when they were doing Final Fantasy 9 because that's my favorite. But yeah, for each game, they talked about the things that they thought were most important. And it was just really cool. And then they were also talking about like, oh, this character, this is a villain that's just like super fearsome. And how do we like portray that in the game? Like, what kind of mechanics can we use in Magic the Gathering to like link up with that stuff? It was just really cool. They did this part in the middle of the panel where they were like basically doing trivia where they would be like, they had two teams and they would say things like, basically they would ask people like, how many cards in Magic the Gathering have bird in the name? And then the wrestlers would like poll the audience and whatnot. It was silly, but I enjoyed seeing Kenny Omega for that. And then I liked seeing all the cool art. You know, obviously they had some cards that were by like Magic the Gathering artists, but they also had guest artists, and they also had art by Amano for some of the cards too. So that was pretty cool to see. It was very pretty. They also gave out posters. Each person got a poster from like their little collab of one of the Final Fantasy characters. They had like Cloud, Sephiroth, Terra, Y'shtola, and then a bad guy from the MMO. I don't know his name. I only played the MMO a little tiny bit. But they were really nice posters. They were like all shiny. It was like almost like holographic kind of. But like I said, I'm really only into Final Fantasy IX, so I gave all the posters to my friend. Because they like the Final Fantasy games more than I do. And they also play the MMO and whatnot. Club, thank you, Gem, thank you. Also, hello, Okairi. But yeah, actually, if you guys are interested in Magic the Gathering at all. Oh, thank you for the sub, Gem. Thank you for the 15 months. Thank you. If you're interested in Magic the Gathering, or just in like card game stuff for Final Fantasy, I have a timestamped link here for the panel if you'd want to watch it at some point. There's a timestamped link for like a 2-hour panel. Oh, party time! Also, I tried to take a picture of my keychain at the panel, but my phone like wanted to focus on the screen instead of my keychain, so it came out very blurry. But also, I kind of feel like it works because like I'm a cryptid. Like pictures of me should be blurry. What else? The most recent expansion on the MMO, the critically acclaimed MMO, has a lot of Final Fantasy IX references. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard a lot of people saying like, oh, maybe this is like foreshadowing a Final Fantasy IX remake. But there have been rumors about that for years, so I try not to get my hopes up. And then, PAX has always been like very friendly for LGBT people. I was a little nervous this year, honestly, just like how things have been kind of in the US recently. And like I have faith in like PAX and like the PAX community, but I wasn't sure about like the parent company that owns them or the convention center, so I was a little nervous. But they still had all these signs up being like, you know, we welcome everybody, PAX is a safe space. And I was happy. I appreciated it. I was a little worried, and then I was like, there was nothing to worry about. And every year there's new signs like this. I think it's one of the enforcers. Basically, you know how a lot of conventions, like people volunteer to work at the conventions? PAX actually pays the people that work there, and they're called enforcers. And I think one of them gets commissioned to draw these signs every year. Because at each PAX we go to, there's usually 1 or 2 new signs. Like in previous years, they've had like Bridget, they've had Link, all different kinds. From like games and anime. Okay, and then this is just cool. They had a little mini arcade that one of the enforcers. This is an enforcer right here. So like at PAX East, the enforcers always wear red PAX shirts, and I'll say like enforcer on the back. And one of the enforcers was pushing this little small arcade around the convention center. So when people were like waiting in line, you could go over and you could play these little tiny arcade cabinets. They're itty bitty. It was super cute. There's basically different positions that the enforcers have. So like you might be a line enforcer. So you'd be on the expo floor and you would make sure that the lines for things get kept if there's too many people. Or, you know, basically be helping out on the expo floor if there's any problems. Like one year, there was a guy that like had a seizure actually on the expo floor. And so like people ran and got the enforcers to help with that. But one rule that enforcers can have is called like line entertainment. So basically, people will be in like line waiting for their panels or whatever. And these enforcers will go around and like do things to entertain people so that like it's not boring when you're online. Because if you've ever gone to conventions, like a lot of times if there's like a big thing there, like let's go see Markiplier. Everyone will line up like hours early or whatever. And it can be boring. But at PAX, if they have stuff like that, they'll have people that like walk by and do little things. They'll play like little mini games. Like sometimes like an enforcer will go by with like a big giant foam D20. And they'll make you like see who can roll the highest on it and things like that. Or one time, one came by and we had like a hula hoop competition. Little things like that. And this person had in our little arcade. Gord says Anthrocon here in Pittsburgh is infamous for huge lines. Yeah. I feel like PAX does really good with this. Especially with like making sure that if you're in line, you get to do stuff. Like at other conventions, there have been times where I've gone to like Otakon, for example, and I was in line to see Nobuo Uematsu, who is the Final Fantasy composer. And I waited in line for like 2 hours, and then like 2 people in front of me, they cut us off. And they're like, okay, he's done. And it's like, what did I just wait in line 2 hours for? Like, I just wasted my time. Like, there's nothing more heartbreaking than that, right? Like, it literally just, like, ruined my day at the convention. And PAX is very good about making sure that doesn't happen. So at PAX, everything is counted. The enforcers will have, like, a little, like, clicker, and they'll go through and count every single person. And they'll let you know when something's at capacity. And they might say, like, oh, you know, you can stay if you want, but you probably won't get in. But they always let you know. Like, if you're past this point, you're good. Which I really appreciate. JD says, that was me and my sister when we were the first people in line when they cut off for The Price is Right. It just sucks, right? And, like, it's preventable. It's preventable. And, like, I haven't been to that many cons since I started doing PAX. But, like, none of the other conventions I've ever gone to have done stuff like that. So I'm just like, this is the way, guys. People should follow PAX's lead with this. And maybe they have. Maybe they have in the past decade. I'm not sure. Mogoda says they call them gophers over here. Oh, the staff. I see. And there was a doggo. Sorry, these are just random pictures now. There was a doggo. This was at the Pokemon booth. They always have a Pokemon booth where they teach people to play the card game. And one of the people there had a dog. He had like a husky corgi in his backpack. It was super cute. But also kind of weird because, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen corgi mixes. They'll have the head of the regular sized dog and on the body of a corgi. It's a little freaky. It's a little bit freaky. Mogoda says, at last year's Vexpo, the person in front of me brought the last 2 pen lights. The queue was so long. Yeah, I hate stuff like that. A Horgy? Is that what they call them? I was wondering, because, like, some animals, or some dog breeds, it's like a golden doodle. That's a golden retriever and a poodle mix, right? If it's a husky and a corgi, I wasn't sure what you call them. Kitty says, I love backpack doggos. There's always a bunch of dogs at PAX. Well, not like a bunch, but I usually see multiple. And sometimes there's cosplaying dogs. I didn't get any pictures this year because I saw them like when they were walking past me. But someone had their dog cosplaying the entire weekend, and every day they had a different costume. One day they were a Sith doggy. So they had like a little like cloak, and they were carrying a lightsaber in their mouth. It was so funny. And at one point, the dog was like... the dog was like walking past people and bonking them in the leg with the lightsaber. And the owner was like, hey, get back here, get back here. It was so funny. And then another day, because there was a big Gearbox panel, I think, where they were talking about like Borderlands 4 or something. And they had the dog dressed up as a psycho. Is it Psycho or Psyker? It's the enemy from Borderlands. It's been a long time since I played Borderlands. But, that time I think the doggo had, like, a gun in his mouth. I like cosplaying dogs. Gord says, oh man, those poor people's legs just cut right off. I know. And I was like, look at that good boy. And Boo Bear was like, that's not a good boy, that's a Sith. I was like, all dogs are good dogs, even if they're Siths. Moguda said, I saw a cosplay doggo at Anime North a few years back.
It's nice to meet you.
Welcome the goat, welcome. Okay, and then this will be my last picture. And I gotta pull it up on my screen too so I can read it to you guys. So at PAX, I always have funny banners. There's always like 5 funny banners hidden around the convention center that are just like super silly. Let me pull up this one so I can read it to you guys in case it's too small. Back in my day, they were all Nintendos. Didn't matter who made them. Sonya, Segway, Playmobil, all Nintendos. Used to say, give me 2 bees for a quarter, and if you didn't feed your Tamagotchi, it died. You'd have a little funeral and ask your pop-pop for a new watch battery. But we actually used dice back then, instead of just putting them in nice wooden boxes on account of Matt Mercer used them on the internet once. They just have like silly banners like these around the convention. They had a really good one at PAX Unplugged too. I think it was about like gaming tables. But I always get a kick out of them. I always try and like make sure I snap a picture whenever I walk by them. It's kind of like a fun little thing to like try and find them throughout the weekend. JD said, did they just hire Fangy to write these all with her old cryptid wisdom? I wish. They had one year, like when NFTs were a big thing. And it was like, stand here if you never want anyone to tell you about NFTs ever again. Free yourself from the blockchain. And then people loved that one. People were like, they were like taking the text from it and like putting it on t-shirts and stuff. It like basically went viral. They ended up raffling it off to raise money for, I think, Child's Play. It's the charity that like PAX is associated with. They like raise money for like getting assistive technology and games for hospitals for kids. Gord says, I've seen those please don't talk to me about NFT buttons. Yeah. Well, luckily that stuff seems mostly dead at this point. I feel like I haven't heard anything about that in a long time. But that is all the pictures I've prepared for you guys. Overall, I had a fun time at PAX. Yeah. This was my... I think... I started going in 2012. And then there was a year or 2 off because of COVID when they didn't do the con. I think it was 1 year they didn't do it. So what is that? I think it'd be 13 years minus the 1 year for COVID. So I think it's been 12 years that I've gone. I've been going for a very long time. And then PAX Unplugged is the board game one in Philadelphia. I've gone to that one since it started in 2017, I think. But yeah. I always have fun. I have lots of friends that I'll see there, like school friends that moved away and then we'll meet up there. Or just friends from like the PAX community that you end up seeing like every year. And also like people that you know from like trading in pins, because I'm an enamel pin addict, but I did good this year. I did very good this year. I only got 4 pins. I exercised great self-control. Please be proud of me. But thank you for hanging out with me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my little slideshow of pictures. I will stop here, I think. We will pick up on Wednesday with some gaming on my channel. Tomorrow, we'll be over on my friend Ariel's channel doing some more Stardew Valley. And then on Wednesday, I believe I'll be playing some Promise Mascot Agency here. So come on back. I will rest up tonight and recover from the con the con sleepies from walking around for 4 days in a row. The Fangy paws were very tired by the end of it. Let's see if we have any friends that we can read tonight. Who is still on? Let's see. It looks like Marshmallows is streaming some Minecraft. We will go raid Marshmallows. Everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I hope I'll see you again later this week. And I hope you all had a good time hanging out with me, even though I was just chatting. I always feel a little nervous about doing just chatting like streams when I have to talk a bunch and not play games. I'm like, oh, what do I fall back on if I don't have anything to say? But thank you for sticking with me, guys. Thank you for the raiders that hung out as well. Oh, now it's working. I think my mic is borked. Cause like I literally did nothing. And then it turned off and turned back on. I'm sorry guys. Oh hey Shy! Shy's one of my PAX pals actually. Shy, we were just talking about PAX. But we are reading Marshmallows now. We will say PAX raid. Alright everybody. I will see you next time and bye bye.